Hey everybody, so this is part 2. So anyway, shame and guilt around sex, and I was like, dang, that sucks because I really want to have sex and I just love this guy so much. Ugh. And so I was, of course, not truthful and forthcoming to my mom or anyone else about wanting to do this with this guy, although they knew. And then I went to where this guy was located because he was in the oil field, and in a hotel room, had my first time of having sex. And it was not, I didn't have enough self-worth and self-esteem, even though I knew all the educational fear-mongering stuff of STIs or in pregnancy. I was on birth control, but I didn't make him wear a condom, and because of fear of being rejected, because that's my whole thing, right? That's my body's thing, is I have an anxious attachment style. I will do anything, or would back then do anything to get somebody to stay with me, anything at all, to make them stay with me, to make them not leave me. And so I was like, okay, you don't have to use a condom. I had no STI check before we did this. I had nothing. And I just trusted him wholeheartedly, like gave my heart to this guy wholeheartedly. Just, there you go. And there were so many red flags. The way he spoke to me, the way he treated other people, the way he talked about himself, the way he didn't take care of himself, drinking and smoking, and the way he interacted. There's so many red flags. And so we did it, and then he left and went to work, and I was just by myself, this very sacred moment that should have been sacred, that should have been with somebody that was really seeing me, hearing me, was not abusive, that kind of thing. That didn't happen. And so I remember feeling so much shame afterwards. And then of course my mom didn't make it better, neither did my sister. It was just something we just didn't talk about anymore. And it was just something I went and did that I shouldn't have done, you know. And then it comes to, I have 2 STIs, sexually transmitted infections. Back then it was STDs. And so that's great. Perfect. Love that for myself. Not. So not only did I lose my virginity to this asshole, I also received STIs. I call him while I'm at the doctor's office, and I'm texting him while I'm at I call him and text him while I'm at the doctor's office, and I'm there with my mom because I was like, something's wrong with me, right? Like I was like, oh my God, something's wrong with me. And I go and realize I have these infections and stuff and all this stuff, and then I have to have procedures done and medication given to me, which I didn't take. But I call him and he tells me, and this is classic gaslighting, classic abuse, y'all, classic manipulation. You cheated on me. This is your fault. I didn't do this. Come to find out, he knew he had STIs. He knew his friends did, and they all shared medication with each other. Yep. And obviously the STDs are gone now. The STIs are gone now. And I went and did the holistic route. My mom took me and we did a holistic route, and I'm good now. And this was a long time ago, right? So I've had checkups and blood work and all the things like since then. And I'm good now. But what a traumatic experience, right? Yeah. And I stayed with him. After he did this, I stayed with him. Didn't hear anything my mom had to say, because my mom was against this guy, like, from the get. She was like, nah, you know, but she was against everybody I date. So anyway, then we move on to him cheating on me. So again, I'm trusting him and stuff, and his friends are gross and nasty, and I don't like them. And they're rude, and they're just makes you want to vomit. Like, I'm just like, I hate these people. Let's move on to him trying to get me to dress a certain way. He wanted me to dress like a cowgirl. Okay, no offense to cowgirls. Cowgirls are cowgirls, and I'm not a cowgirl. I don't want to dress like a cowgirl. I'm not one. I'm me. And that's that. You know, like, okay, like I wear boots and jeans if I go dancing, which I don't go dancing anymore, but I wear boot and jeans, yeah, because that's dancing, right? I need to wear that stuff. But I don't dress like a cowgirl, and I don't do any of that. And I was like, no, not doing that. I just didn't do it. I was like, no, don't want to do that. And then he says, he's staying in, blah, blah, blah. I go out with my other friend, and we go to a bar, another bar, and the one of his friends, I tell him that Bob was staying at home, blah, blah, blah. And he said, I wouldn't trust him as far as I can throw him. And that sent me into a spiral, everybody, a spiral. I'm in the middle of this bar. I am bawling, I'm crying, I'm screaming, crying, like, go and get my friend. I am out of it. My nervous system is fight flight. Like, I am not paying attention to anything that's going on. I flip my lid, as Dan Siegel would say. My prefrontal cortex is out of there. It's not there. All my survival mode is just on. I was crushed. Because I think somewhere I knew, right, that this was happening, and me trusting this person was definitely not the thing to do. And so I had my mom. I had a very codependent and enmeshed relationship growing up with my parents, or my mom, and in my family. Okay. So anyway, I call my mom and I say, hey, go to his house, see if there's someone there. She goes there. She's knocking on his door, that kind of thing. My family's very chaotic as well. So this is just normal for me back then. It's very normal to be chaotic. It's very normal to have the guy be the bad guy. It's very normal to catch someone cheating, to go stalk them basically just to see if they're cheating and then never break up with them. Right? Even if they're cheating on you, and never break up with them, even if they're abusing you. And so, he doesn't have anyone there. But then come to find out after that, I was obviously hurt and suspicious, and he was upset, and he was telling me, like, you know, basically again, gaslighting, manipulation. How could you think that? What's going on? Blah, blah, blah. But by this time though, my body was so against being in this relationship that I just started to shut down. I started to be really anxious, have high anxiety, be tense all the time. Like, I didn't even know this though, right? I was basically just disassociating from my body though, because I wasn't paying attention to anything. I didn't understand. And so then I come to find, he goes and gets in the shower, and I'm in his bed after I spent the night there, and I look at his phone, and he's messaging someone all day long. So he's having an emotional affair, and more than likely, come to find out, right, more than likely a physical affair, then come to find out it is a physical affair. And I'm like, I confront him about this. He gets mad at me. Of course, there's again the gaslighting, the manipulation, the abuse. And I stay with him still. I stay with him. I'm like, oh, okay. And then after this, very shortly after this, I break up with him. And then I go and just live my life. Okay? But then listen to what he does afterwards. And this is exactly why people get killed whenever they are with someone who is controlling abuser. Although I'm not dead, so yay me.